What's going on, risk takers? Listen, man, it's your boy B. As always, this is the Purpose Driven Risk Podcast, and I'm excited because this is the first episode right here. And man, if you guys only knew the show that I have in store for you all. Listen, man, I just want to let you guys know that here at Purpose Driven Risk Podcast, what we simply do is we help everyday people like you and myself take risk with a purpose. So none better than Monica Lee is who we have here. She's going to go ahead and pretty much just tell us her story. There's going to be a bunch of gems being dropped. So if you take notes, go ahead and take notes. If you don't take notes, I don't know why you don't. But nonetheless, man, we have a serial entrepreneur here from AirBNB teaching, coaching. She's an educator. She's a public speaker. Listen, she's doing digital products. She's in a little bit of everything, right? So if you want to go ahead and just kind of give us a take on, how you grew up and maybe just some background on where you're from, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. Hello. So I'm Miss Monica Lee. You forgot the Miss in front, Brandon.
Oh, my fault. Miss Monica Lee.
Yes,
Listen.
yes. So I guess to introduce myself and where I'm from, New York.
Right. Come
Brooklyn,
on, rep. You got a rep.
Brooklyn.
You got a rep.
Facts. I grew up in East New York. It's not the best, it's not the worst, but
Right.
that's where I'm from. My upbringing, oh man, I had an interesting upbringing, to say the least.
What? Let us know. Let us know.
Yeah. So basically, I guess I'll start from childhood, right? Because things got cool from childhood, so I'll start from there. I was like a real super creative kid, so I loved drawing, and I used to make clothes out of like all little pieces, like of little fabric and things for myself and my dolls, and I was just into all type of stuff. And I remember in school,
Right.
and they're like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I'm like, "I want to be an artist." Like I just was just in a whole other world. Like everybody else wanted to be like a doctor, a teacher, and I'm saying an artist. And everyone was like, "Where'd that come from?"
Right.
But growing up in Brooklyn, like it was like I've seen a lot of things. I feel like at my age, like really from young, like a lot of like bad things, negative things, violence and stuff. And I was always like trying to stay far away from anything that had to do with that. I was always in my own world, just kind of like creating my own environment.
Right.
I had pretty much just like I said, just focused on I was in a lot of extracurricular activities growing up too. And I think that's what really contributed to me being the way I am now, where I can just do so much. Listen, when I was a kid, I did a lot of stuff. I did music. So I played the piano. Okay. I did dance. I did tap, ballet, jazz, hip hop. I already told you I did art. That was my main.
Wait, hold on. Wait. You was dancing?
Yeah, I was dancing.
No, because and hold on, wait. Not the type of dancing y'all be talking about nowadays, okay?
No.
This is that, right? This is that artistic dancing, all right? Yeah. We talking ballet. We talking, you know what I'm saying? Juilliard. That's what we talking.
I also taught too.
For
I
real?
Was a teacher, yeah, from like age 15 to probably like 19. Right. I was an assistant teacher, and I used to have little kids from age 2 and up teaching. So that's where the Miss came from too. People been calling me Miss Monica since I was 15.
Right. Okay.
But so I feel like that all those extracurricular activities I was in from a child, that really I feel like molded me to be this person that I feel like I could do so much different things, because I literally see myself. I feel like that's the best way to know if to break your fear of putting yourself out there doing stuff when you've grown up and done so many different activities and known, like, listen, I used to get on stage, hundreds of people in the audience, like I had to just get it together right away and dance, and like I was actually a shy person, but I broke out of it. So I would say like that really molded me. But things really got like really, really cool for me when I got to high school. I went to art high school. So it's called Art and Design. Couple cool people graduated from there. Some famous people, like, it was a real cool school. But what I loved about it was I was surrounded by kids who were just like me. So growing up in East New York, it was like a lot of like gang stuff. I was about to curse, Brandon. Oh my gosh, it was a lot.
No, you good.
But it was a lot of gang stuff. It was a lot of people just fighting all the time, and a lot of things that I feel like I shouldn't have been seen at a young age. And now I'm shifting. I'm going to school in Manhattan. If y'all don't know, like going from East New York to Manhattan, these tall buildings, corporate, it was a whole other world for me. But I was surrounded by a lot of kids who were more into that than like being outside and being in the streets and stuff. So I really feel like that changed a lot for me. I could have went down the wrong path. So that's really where I got my start, like just going to that school. All of my friends that I had, they were all just like me, so I was just super inspired. And when I graduated, this is what I did. So let me tell you, I skipped a grade. I was one of those smarty pants kids. I skipped the whole grade. Listen.
Oh, you was one of them.
Yeah, I was one of them.
You was one of them.
It's not because I'm super smart. So y'all don't test me. I'm not smart. I feel like I'm just good at memorizing stuff. I was a good test taker. But what it was my mom was super strict. Like she was one of those, you got a 95? What's going on? Where's the 100? Like she was putting the pressure on me. So anyway, I was in a program where I skipped 9th grade. I went to high school right into 10th. And anyhow, I'm bringing that up to say, like, school was like my focus. Can you imagine having a mom who was just like, education was everything? So there was no doubt that I was going to college. Like, there was no, like, you're not like, what? Like, no, you're going to college, right? So because I was into art, I was applying for a lot of the art schools. However, the art schools that I was getting accepted to, they were out of state. And my mom did not like that. She did not want me to go out of state. She wanted me to stay in New York. So once...
Because of the money, or because of like trying to like keep a close eye on you?
So my mom was a strict mom. So it was about that.
Okay.
My mom, she was just like, nope, you're not going nowhere. You're gonna be at parties. My mom she used to tell me all type of stuff. You're gonna be at parties, you're gonna be smoking and this and that. You're not, no. That's what she pictured. So with that said,
okay. Wait, was she like Caribbean? She was Caribbean?
Yeah. So on my mom's side is West Indian from the Virgin Islands, in St. Kitts. And on my dad's side, they're like from down south, so a lot of Georgia and North Carolina and whatnot. So yeah. So my dad's side, they was old fashioned, old school, and then on my mom's side, it was Caribbean, really strict, got an education over everything, like so. It was straight.
Right.
I wasn't getting away with nothing.
Okay. So let's backtrack a little bit. Yeah. So I always talk about how, like, and people always say this online or social media, whatever, like, hey, surround yourself, find your crew or your family, your people, so to speak, right? And that's how you level up, because you need to be in the right room, in the right environment. And I think a lot of people like, oh man, like, I don't know how to do that. But then if you think back to school, like, school is the perfect example of being in the right room with the right people to inspire you, to keep you going, to like sharpen you. Because I'm sure that school that you went to, like you said, everybody had the same mindset. Everybody came in every day thinking art, thinking design, right? Versus going to maybe like a regular public school, which didn't really have like a niche. Not that those public schools were bad, but those kids may have been thinking about other things. So I think when people think about how do I do this, it's really as simple as going to where multiple people will be who are thinking the same thing that you are. And it's really like that simple. There's no like magic wand that you wave. It's just like, hey, I used to go to school every day from 9 or whatever, from 7 to 3, and pretty much be surrounded around people who were trying to get to the same place that I was going. And that's, pretty much it. But anyway, so you said you went to high school, and then you were about to get into like a little bit of
my college.
Like the college stuff. So tell me about like what was that like after being a really studious person, like knowing that there's no other way but college for you. But then I know you said that it was supposed to be in-state. So how did that play out?
So what ended up happening, my mom was like, yeah, you're not going away. Like you need to apply for some schools here. So I ended up going to just a regular school. It was a great school, still college, but it just wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to school for art or something related to fashion at the time. So with that said, I feel like my dreams was almost crushed. Like, back then I remember MTV, I used to watch The Hills. And on The Hills, I remember the girls, they had went away to school and they was majoring in fashion and stuff. And I just remember that having this I was just imagining that's what I was going to do. Like I was going to go away to school and major and I was just going to have this new life. So my dreams was kind of crushed. So what ended up happening was me and my mom, we kind of was going through it. Like our relationship started going downhill from those years. And so my mom eventually just was like, get out. She kind of kicked me out. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I wouldn't say I was bad at all. I was a good kid. I think the issue was that my mom just I don't know, she just really wanted the best for me, I feel, but she didn't really know how to how to explain that without being super strict and protective. So I was just at a point where I'm like, I can't do this. I'm literally, you know, getting straight A's. I'm picking up my sister. I'm just doing so much. I just want to live like how my friends are living, kind of thing. And so my mom was just, all right, whatever, and kind of kicked me out. And I always tell people like I was a little homeless for a little bit, only because I chose to. I don't know why, but I was like at that age, I was thinking I could move out and get my own place. I don't know where I was gonna try to move with my little income.
Right.
But
you didn't know about that New York. You didn't know about that New York rent. Oh, you didn't know. Yeah, you didn't know.
So until one day I looked, I said, okay. But anyway, that's what I thought I was gonna do. So I was staying in my school for a little bit, and I think this is when I'm telling you, like everything that I do today, it all started from my younger years. I remember I was in the computer lab in my school because that was the only thing that was open 24 hours. My school didn't have a dorm or somewhere to hang out, so it was a computer lab in this other room. So I would just alternate between those rooms, and I literally had all my stuff with me, and I would just change out my clothes, go to school, go to work. That's what I was doing until I was just like, this is not really healthy because like I need to be somewhere. I can't be like living like this. So I ended up reaching out to my dad. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna tell my dad. I didn't want to tell him, but I was like, I gotta tell him what's going on. And I ended up moving in with my dad. And the reason that's such a pivotal moment for me is because now I go with my dad, and my dad, honestly, he didn't really care too much about school. Like he didn't ask me what I was doing in college or so my grades, oh man, like they were just going downhill.
So it was two different. So okay, you went from someone who was super like strict about school and really like into academia, and then someone who was like really not too worried about that. Let me ask you, what did your dad do for a living?
So my dad, he actually worked for New York City Transit. He's a train operator. So he was doing that since I was born. So my dad was all about his job. You know, he had a job with benefits type of thing. So for him, that's all he wanted for me. He was like, if you get it from going to school, if you don't, I don't really care as long as you got a job. That's all my daddy cared about, just getting a job. That's it. Take care of yourself, you be all right. So with that said, he didn't go to school, and I think that's why he wasn't super harsh with me on finish. He just was like, whatever you want to do, you do. So like I said, my grades started going a little downhill, but it was mainly because not only was he lenient, he didn't ask me nothing, care. I was also working because I all about my dad. So I was trying to manage working. Like I literally had 2 jobs at one point, and I was going to school. And so I started to prioritize my money over school, mainly because I felt like I wanted this. I told you I used to look at magazines and stuff since I was young. I wanted this really super, you know, high-end lifestyle. So I knew I wasn't going to get
this luxurious lifestyle,
so I got to go to work. So that's really what happened. I just started working, you know. What really made me say I don't want to finish school was because I became an entrepreneur from young. So I was doing e-commerce. I was selling stuff on eBay, right? I was going to like the wholesale district and buying jewelry and buying bags and stuff and selling it.
This is while you were in school?
Yes, it started out when I was in school, and then once I started making money from school and from work, I said, man, I'll finish school when I feel like it. Like that's kind of the mentality I had. I started feeling like this entrepreneurship path was what I needed to do. Like that was what was going to take me to the next level. See, for me, the reason why I also wasn't so dead set on school was because everybody in my family that had went to school, they had jobs and they were still struggling. And I'm like,
So wait. So take me back to like your first experience as an entrepreneur when you said you were doing the e-commerce stuff.
Yes, got you. Oh my gosh. So when I was in high school, I was actually in a pre-college program in this school called Fashion Institute of Technology in New York. It's a really big school for, you know, people who are interested in fashion and stuff. So I went there for a class about e-commerce. And at the time, I don't want to show my age too much, y'all, but like at that time, e-commerce wasn't really a thing. Like people was afraid to even put photos of themselves online. Like this is like the beginning of the internet, right? So I was in that class and I was learning how to, you know, take pictures of pieces and how to, you know, write descriptions and use the internet to sell stuff. That's basically what I learned. I learned a little bit about marketing and whatnot. So something sparked in my mind from that class this was like probably like, I want to say like 2 years later. And I said, why don't I try that thing that I learned about in that class? So I went on eBay and made an account. And that's why I'm showing my age, because I don't think people use eBay like that no more. I don't even know. Maybe they
Nah,
do. I'm not too
eBay.
sure.
Listen, eBay
Still
still
lit? Still lit?
making money out.
Oh,
Yup,
okay.
yup,
Still lit. Maybe I'll get
yup.
back on it. Cause listen, I could
I'm
have
telling you.
anything.
I'm
So
telling you.
so yeah, I got on there and I was basically like flipping anything that I could flip. Like I was going into wholesale. Mind you, I didn't even have a wholesale ID. Like I was supposed to have I think it's a tax ID or whatever. I was supposed to have that. I didn't even have that. I used to go in the store and say, hey, I'm young. I'm a young entrepreneur. Can you, help me out? And they would sure and let me buy
Right.
stuff and whatever. I used to flip jewelry
So
and
you would.
yeah.
That's listen. So listen. That just speaks to, when people say, listen, where there's a will, there's a way, like find a way, and that may not be every situation, but sometimes, people get one roadblock and they're just like, oh man, it didn't work. Like, no, like, it's not like you were lying, but you were also just like, listen, I'm just trying to make it out here. If you could help me out, I don't have a tax ID. I don't have the wholesale ID. And for those who don't know, that's like, if you are a wholesaler, you're going to be able to buy things in bulk, or buy things, where you don't have to pay taxes, or as high as taxes on that. So, that's what she was doing. But I want to just fast forward really, really quickly, because I want everyone to know what you're currently doing
Yes.
and why you're so famous. And so, but you know what I mean? Like, why? Pretty much, like, we're so glad to have you on the show because of what you've accomplished so far. So we're gonna go back, but I also right now I just want to kind of fast forward and just give everybody, if you had to tell someone what you do, and how you do it,
yes.
If you could go ahead and give that to us right now.
Cool. So, serial entrepreneur, like you guys know, I just told y'all a million things, right? So I got a lot of background and stuff. But what I mainly do is Airbnb coaching. So I started out with my own Airbnb properties, and I pretty much documented the process, like from start to finish, what everything I was doing when I was facing obstacles and whatnot. And I started out just sharing it online. And when I was sharing it, I had no intention to make money or coach or anything. I was just sharing with people. And then people kept reaching out to me saying that, like, do I mentor? Do I coach? Do I have a book? I'm like, wait, what? So, I started researching, and I seen that there were a couple of people, but not anybody like me. What I mean by that is like people who were explaining it from a level of, okay, these are beginners who may not have a lot of access to a lot of money or a lot of experience, or just know how to do certain things in the online space and know anything about real estate. Like, it's just like I was finding coaches, but they just had too much experience. And so the methods and the things they were teaching, it didn't always work for beginners. And so for me, that was what I started with. And I got my start basically by just leveraging social media. Like I literally just hit the live button. Like there was times I was like, oh my gosh, I'm scared. I don't want to, like, why am I doing this? And I just said, nope, talk myself out of it. And I just hit the live button. And as I kept doing that, I started growing a community. Like I literally had people watching every time I went live. People even asking me if I missed going live, they were like, right, everything okay? Are you coming live? Like it was, so from there, I identified that, okay, I think I'm an Airbnb coach now at this point.
Okay. So wait. So pretty much, to sum it up, you do Airbnb coaching, and then you also sell digital products. So I want to take it back to how successful were you, like, by yourself? This I'm not talking about like teaching people. I'm just talking about you just doing Airbnb yourself.
Oh yeah.
Take us through, like, okay, you just got one and you made a lot of money, or like what was it about you doing Airbnb that made you feel like, yo, I'm lit.
Teach,
like this works. Like, when did you know it worked?
I guess it was when I started out, I got one property and I seen how easy it was to make the money. So right away I scaled up from one, I went to three, and then 3 to 5. So I moved very fast. And the reason why I felt that my success was just crazy was that the bookings, I pretty much figured out methods on how to stay booked. That was something that I noticed a lot of other people in the Airbnb space. Like I would talk to other hosts, and they would say they were struggling with bookings, struggling with, making enough money. They were just breaking even. And I was seeing how I was profiting from one property, sometimes $2,000-$3,000. So when I seen that, I was like, I think I got something here, because people are telling me they're making like 300, 400, maybe 500 sometimes off of a property. So that was one. And then also the whole system that I had, I was able to flip properties, as I say, like flip them really fast. So I would figure out how to, I would go scout the properties, like where could I do it at, whether, I would get a, I don't want to tell too much because I got a course. So I don't want to give away too much, but
right. But just if you could drop a little bit,
yeah, drop a
for my
little,
community, so they, so they understand.
Okay, so basically, the hardest part about doing Airbnb is finding a property because you don't know if you're able to do it with, are you able to just list the property? Do you have to own the property? That's something that a lot of people, are not sure about. So I pretty much figured it out that there's different methods. You can either do it, under your personal lease and get a clause inside of your lease that allows you to sublease, that allows you to list it on short-term rental platforms, that allows you to do business with that apartment. Then you have another type of lease that you could sign that is underneath your corporate or your corporation, whether you have a LLC or S corp, whatever business entity you have. And again, you have permission to list on short-term rental properties. Or there's another way, and I don't really want to speak on it too much, but I'll be honest, I see a lot of people talk about it, and it's mainly like getting a property and you don't really say nothing, you just throw it up on Airbnb, right? So I pretty much studied all of the different methods on how to do it. And I've seen that most people get stuck at that part. Like they're not even getting into the Airbnb space because they just don't know that simple part right there. So I figured that out. Now I kind of got lost, but what were you? Oh my gosh, I told so much, Brittany.
No, you're doing great. You're doing great. Okay. So pretty much, okay. So the beginning was you going and actually securing the space. I think is what you're saying. Okay, how do I get them to say yes? Mm-hmm. You're approved for the apartment, and then also like, can I actually do short-term renting here, with short-term renting being Airbnb? And then okay, so after being approved, now you're talking about like staying booked, because that's a really big thing. Everybody, like I know some of my listeners are going to be like, yo, I want to get into the Airbnb space, but they're nervous, like I'm scared to be paying my rent and then also having to pay like another rent. And then what if I don't make the money? Now I'm stuck with this lease and, I got to figure out. So if you could, drop a couple of gems on how you were able to stay booked, because that's really, after they secure the spot, a person's biggest fear is probably like, man, if I break even, this is just like me doing work for nothing. Or if I don't break even, if I like go in the negative and I have to eat it, I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, now I really feel like I'm just trapped because I just signed this lease. So what are some of, the creative ways that you felt worked for you to be able to like, make sure that you can stay booked?
Okay, so one thing I always tell people is that Airbnb is just one platform. So it's important that you try to maximize where you have your property listed. So there's over like 15 other that I know of, and there's probably more than that, but there's about 15 other platforms that we try and use with our listing. So that way, if you're not getting booked on Airbnb, you may get booked on these other platforms. You also have an option of creating your own private booking website and, marketing it yourself. The advantage you have with Airbnb is you don't have to do any work. The guests, the reservations come in for you. They do the marketing for you. Everything's set up. But this is just another option so that you could change your pricing and do different things, because it's on a private booking website. And social media. Like I always say it, like I love to leverage social media. So I would go and create a social media page just for that property and promote that and throw ads on that or share it with people or do interesting videos inside of the property. And the last thing I would say, a last gem, is that nowadays people love photos. People love to take pictures and videos when they're going somewhere, right? So what if you create a space that has like a photo moment or just a themed unit? You get what I'm saying? That's something that I did with some of my units, make them theme units so that people will come in and want to take photos or videos. And there's a website I like to use. I'm going to give you all this gem. There's a website. It's called PureSpace. PureSpace, you can actually list an apartment on there, or any interesting space that you have, and people can rent it out for photo shoots, video shoots, productions, and stuff like that. So now instead of charging a nightly rate, you would charge an hourly rate. So it's like nightly, our properties average around 100 to 150, but we put it on those platforms, and those platforms you could do 100 an hour. You know what I'm saying? So now you can make up for those days that you might not be getting booked.
Okay. So if y'all listening, listen, she just dropped some gems right there on how to stay booked. And so with PeerSpace, those people are using your Like they're renting out a room or they're renting out the whole space for the hour?
It's completely up to you. If you wanted to just put the room, you could listen, you just touched on something. You could literally, if you wanted to, if you had a double room and let's say bedroom, I should say, and both bedrooms are decorated, cool. If you wanted to, you could break that up into two listings and put two listings if you wanted to, you know. You would basically give them access to the whole entire space if you wanted to, and they can just use it all. And it's cool because if you want, you could actually be there, you know, and you could be a part of something and get to see what they're doing there, or it could just be hands off and you're not there and they go get the key and do what they got to do and then lock up when you're all done.
Right. Okay. You just said something. It was a perfect segue. You said hands off. So
yeah.
I know on your Instagram, you know, the queen of passive income. Yes. That's what they calling you. Yes. So speak on how we kind of touched on Airbnb and like what it's like to kind of get started. Speak on how you scaled and why you think it's passive. And you can even include like some of the digital products, but we can get into that later because I feel like that's just another stream of income.
Yes.
But if you could speak on how Airbnb was passive for you, because people hear passive and they're like, oh, sign me up. I don't got to do no work. But I always believe that there's at least some legwork, you know, in the beginning. But if you could go ahead and break down how you were able to make this passive for you.
All right. So my goal with Airbnb was to not have to be present because at the time I was still working my full-time job. So we didn't really talk about that, but I used to be a flight attendant.
No, yeah, go ahead. You can get into that. So really quick. So we got people on this podcast who working 9 to 5s and some went to college, some didn't, some left, dropped out. It's a mix of everything. So yeah, you can touch on that as well.
Yeah. So, remember I told you my daddy always had the same job. So he was like, get a job with benefits. So one day I said, let me listen to my dad and just give me a job. Because before that, I was always working retail. I like the flexibility because I like to do my side hustles. So I never wanted a corporate job or anything. And it's funny because I could have got those type of jobs. I just didn't want them. So my family was just nervous about me. They're like, listen, girl, you getting older. You need a job with a 401k and whatnot. So I just kind of visited whatever I like to do that still fit with my lifestyle of being a side hustle queen. Like, I was not trying to give that stuff up. So I became a flight attendant because it just seemed really cool. And I was already nice. So I was like, whatever, I'll just do it. I don't mind. So it wasn't like a dream job or nothing because I always would get that question. I'm like, no, y'all, like I literally became a flight attendant like in my late 20s. Like I didn't care. Like it was not that. But anyhow, so I started doing it and the pandemic really messed my job up for me because flights were not going out. So now my hours were getting cut. I was barely working. And because my seniority wasn't that high, because when you're a flight attendant, you need to make about like 5 years before you really see like decent money, in my opinion. I mean, people will argue with that, but listen, like I said, I like my money. So I decided that I wanted to, you know, do something, you know, that could supplement my income. And what happened was that I started researching Airbnb for a little while, but I was just scared because I didn't know enough. I felt like I just didn't know where to begin and how it was going to work out. And when the pandemic came, I said, oh no, this is not going to do it for me. Like I need something else. And I was seeing how all of the news about Airbnb, like going public and Airbnb was doing better than the hotels during the pandemic. I said, wait a minute. Right. Maybe I need to start doing it. So that's literally like the time that I started. So it was a scary time to start, but it was lucrative. And anyway, why my goal was to make it hands off was that because I was still working my full-time job, because I didn't dive in like I knew one property wasn't going to replace my job, right? I thought 2 probably wasn't either. So that was one reason I scaled up so fast, but also that I was working in New York. And the properties, I decided to do Airbnb in Atlanta. So there was really no way for me to be there. Like, you know, like.
Hold on. Okay. So listen, I'm sorry. I just have to stop because no, listen. So flight attendant, yes. Pandemic hits. Now you're like, hold on, my stuff is getting messed up now, my hours. And you chose to start Airbnb during the pandemic. Yep. And in a state that you didn't even live in.
Yeah, because I'm crazy like that.
When you talk about risk, come on now. We talk about risk takers. Listen, she's one of them. All right, go ahead. So you started it in Atlanta.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Atlanta,
I'm sorry.
Let me tell y'all why. Because people probably are like, well, why Atlanta? Or everybody likes Atlanta. No, I actually, before became a flight attendant, that the year before I started, I was actually staying in Atlanta for about 3 months. I was planning on moving there. So while I was staying there, I stayed in an Airbnb. I didn't have a job. I didn't have, income that I could to get approved for an apartment. So my goal was to stay in the Airbnb while I looked for work. And I just seen how people stay in Airbnbs for all type of reasons.
Yeah,
And I just
long
like,
term. Yeah.
I just like the idea just kept coming to me. Like for like first I thought about travel because like I said, came from that. That was my background. But then when I was staying in one, that made me think like, so now I can make money from people who are traveling or people who need a short-term housing situation, maybe for work or relocating. So I'm like, nah, this is gold right here. Like, how come more people
Right.
are not doing this? That's really all I was thinking.
Right.
And I picked Atlanta because, like I said, I was living there already. I knew a little bit about it, but I saw that to me it was a very diverse city that the housing that I was finding wasn't super expensive. So it was just like it just
Okay.
seemed like it just made so much sense. Like people are coming for all types of reasons. Like
Right.
people love to come here, and during the pandemic, Atlanta was the only place that was open. So it just made so much sense. Everybody was there. I said, let me get in on it. So
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense.
hmm
Got it. Okay. Okay. And so how did you go about like starting up these Airbnbs and
hmm
making it passive? Because we want to know how
yes,
you're living in one state and managing Airbnbs in another state.
yeah. So like I said, I'm pretty much a social media computer geek or whatever, right? I just love that type of stuff. So I started looking into things, into different things that run on automation. So I basically found different apps, different tools that sync with Airbnb. So things like messages. Um, I had cleaning team on deck. So what I did was I stayed there for a couple of weeks. Stayed in my unit so that I can see everything that could go wrong or right or whatever inside of my unit, and basically wrote out a whole entire like process. Like I guess you could
Right.
call it like in the work world, it'll be like a SOP basically,
SOP.
right?
Yep.
Right?
For those that
Yeah.
don't, so standard
hmm
operation of
Procedure.
procedures.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
So
Yep.
yeah, so
Yep.
that's
Yep. All
that's
right.
pretty much what I was doing by staying there. I wanted to have a blueprint too, so that I could do that again for the next unit going forward. Because my plan was, like I said, we're not coming back to this Airbnb. We that's the goal. Like
Right.
my dream was I had this dream that I was gonna be vacationing and making money. That's all I could think about. So I was like, I gotta
Right.
figure out how to automate it. So like I said, I used a lot of apps and websites, and I also train people. Like I didn't just say, "Oh, come clean my unit." No, I really trained them to, like, basically be me almost. So come inside the unit, look for
Right.
this, look for that. And honestly, believe it or not, a lot of people are scared to do it if they live out of state. But if you live right across the street from your Airbnb, it wouldn't really change things going wrong, right? Yeah, you could just go right into the Airbnb. But why? You know what I'm saying? When you see the CEOs of these big Fortune 500 companies, they're not walking into their stores every single day. They don't have to
Right.
oversee every little detail, and that's something that I had to learn as an entrepreneur. I didn't know that from young because I had this, that growing up, it's always like, that scared mindset that you're not taking no
Right.
risk. So that's a huge risk to run
Right.
a business and not be present in the business, right? But I was
Right.
thinking forward thinking, and I'm thinking like, this is going to allow me to have more time and allow me to scale because now I just keep getting more done and I just figure out systems so I don't have to be there. So that's pretty much what I did. I
Right.
used websites and apps, and I pretty much built a team of people. And I was able to pay them because that's another thing. People probably like, well, I can't do that. No, I was paying them from my reservation. So my cleaning team, they were getting paid because there's a cleaning fee on Airbnb. So I'm taking the cleaning fee and I'm paying them. So it's not coming out of my pocket. You know what I'm saying? And I would even do the math.
Okay.
Yeah, I would do the math. Like, okay, if I'm making this much of a booking, or I should say this much nightly rate, let me take a percentage of every nightly rate and go towards paying somebody to do extra stuff that I'm not going to do. So
Right.
I even had a virtual assistant. I have somebody that does text messages, everything. So literally, it's completely like right now. I think I got a guest right now. Actually, I had a guest check out yesterday, and then I have a guest right now, and I'm not worried. Like I don't care. Like, completely
Right.
hands off.
Right. Okay. So you got the people to clean it. You pretty much built a team. And so a lot of, man, I just got to pause right here because a lot of people who want to get into entrepreneurship, they don't understand that doing it really, if you study companies, that's the best way to understand how you should be running your business. Like people hear entrepreneurship. Yeah, of course.
I want to cut you off, but I wanted to add that. So when I had all those jobs growing up, my family didn't understand because they just thought like, oh, she doesn't want to get a regular job. No, I was learning from every single company. So because at the time I knew like that was my only way. Like this was a cheat code for me. Instead of me going to college and majoring in business where they're going to teach me accounting and stuff that's not going to really teach me how to run a business, I'm going to just work for a business and look at everything. Listen, I'm looking at their handbooks, everything, learning every little thing and taking notes. So I just wanted to add that, like, that's a little cheat code for people. You could get a job and learn everything from that job and apply it. But like, yeah, I always looked at big companies. Like that's how I see my company. I don't see it as a little company. I see like I don't see myself as a small business or a self-employed person. No, like I'm a CEO. So that's how I think.
Right. Mm-hmm. No. That's tough. That's tough. So it's amazing because people will maybe whine and say like, man, I don't like my job or I hate my 9 to 5. But I always tell them like, what can you learn from your job to take with you? You want to leave anyway, but what can you learn and take that with you? Because you're already doing something, even if you don't like everything about your job, there's some things about your job that you're doing that you love and you're really good at, and you can really flip that into helping your business grow, or you could take that thing that you're really good at and just start doing it for other companies, and pretty much consulting or whatever, or outsource it. So, I think that no matter where you're planted, no matter where you are, and as you were saying about your family, they didn't really understand. Yes, you may have been hopping around to different companies, but you're taking something, even though you leave, you're still taking something with you, that's going to help you for your ultimate goal. And so that's dope. That's super dope. So let me ask you, I mean, you don't have to say, I mean, what was your best month? Like, what was your, you know what I'm saying? You can flex on us just a little bit, but like, what was your best month on Airbnb?
Oh man. I remember, last year, and I'm hoping this year will be the same, but I have one less or probably 2 less Airbnbs than I had last year. So the numbers might change, but, I remember doing 15,000, and this is in profits, because I know people always want to know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. We're not talking revenue, people. We're talking profit.
So,
okay.
So I did that. I did a little something with my platform. Like I said, I just pretty much realized like, okay, summertime, everybody's traveling. Everybody wants to do girls trips, this and that. So I upped my price. Like I literally upped it. And then I took really good pictures. And so I had a unit that was like constantly book. So my reservations were doing like for like 4 nights, 3 nights, I was making like 1,000. So if my rent's only 1,500, I'm making already most of my rent money in like just 2 reservations, and that's not including the cleaning fee. So I'm gonna tell y'all another gem. So cleaning fee on Airbnb, and y'all probably hate hosts like me, but on Airbnb, the cleaning fee, I up it. I put it at $150, right? And I take that cleaning fee and I split it in half, and I give my cleaner 75, and then I take 75 and I reinvest it into whatever I'm doing with my Airbnbs, or I use that as profit. So that's another way that I was just making so much. So that was like, for me, I wish I could do more though. I'm not even gonna lie to you, but I need more properties. That's the only way. But that was one of my best months. And I didn't even, can I tell y'all something really honest? In my gosh, what was it, 2021? Yeah, I got my 2021 because I was still working as a flight attendant. I stopped working in February of this year. So I was still working while I was doing everything. I got my W2, and I made $15,000 in a year working as a flight attendant, and I did that in a month with Airbnb.
Yo, hold on. What? So you telling me flight attendants they not out here making money?
Listen, now y'all.
I'm being messy. I'm being messy.
Let me just put it like this. There's a lot of careers that are glorified just because You have a uniform and you have this and that. And one thing about me, you can probably tell, y'all could probably tell from everything I'm saying, I'm a pretty unconventional person. So I don't know how I got mixed up in it. It was mainly the travel and I just like the flexibility and I hate somebody telling you what to do. I'm not gonna lie. So that was a perfect job. There's no boss. Like nobody's coming in and telling you what to do. You're the boss on that plane.
Right.
But how it works is it's a really outdated system. And they have strikes all the time. Like flight attendants really don't make a lot of money. The hourly rate is pretty competitive. However, you don't get paid a regular hourly salary. Like how other people get 80 hours a week in your check. No, you're not seeing checks like that. You're getting paid because we cannot fly that many hours. You know what I'm saying? You can't be on a plane that many hours.
Okay.
So that's just one example. And then also, seniority plays a big factor in the type of trips you get. So some people are getting these high productive trips where they're flying 6 hours at a time one way. You know what I'm saying? And they're working 4 days. And so all those hours rack up. So where I was
Right.
lower on the seniority pole. So I was pretty much getting whatever was there. And then also, I used to fly something called minimum. So, like I said, not everybody's making that low money. I have some peers that was doing numbers, but they were working like slaves. So I wasn't with it. I wasn't.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure you can make way more, but honestly, nah, it's not one of those jobs that's just like really black and white when it comes to your pay. You gotta pretty much figure out their system and kind of like play around with it to get some real pay. And then don't add in all the other stuff. Like it's a lifestyle type of job. So you're flying to DR and Jamaica and you're like sitting there like, damn, I want to go to the beach and buy this and that. Or Bahamas, where like, oh my God, Bahamas is so expensive and you're spending all this money. So not only are you making kind of not really a good salary, but you're also spending a lot of money because you're just traveling and you're in the moment. You kind of want to, who wants to like eat their packed food? No, like, so, it was one of those things. But yeah,
okay.
Yeah, so that's pretty much why it was so low. And y'all can research it if y'all don't believe me. It's bad. I remember.
No. I think it's good to know because, and this is not us bashing flight attendants, but this is also saying like this podcast is about being able to reveal if you want to do something, we want to make sure that here on this show that we give you the real on what it looks like, what is a day in the life, what to expect, because people are out here in college right now and they are studying something and they've never shadowed someone for what they're doing. And same thing with jobs or businesses as well. So I think it's nice that you were able to kind of just highlight like, look, I made $15,000 in a year, you know what I'm saying? Net profit. And I made $15,000 in profit on Airbnb in 1 month with your properties.
Yeah.
So, a little flex, and we flex over here. So I think that, congrats. I know you said that this February is when you became, would you consider this February is when you became like a full-time entrepreneur?
Yeah.
Because
finally,
okay.
I finally just took that leap because for years I always had a job as a little safety net. And it was mainly not just for myself, but for honestly, I was trying to please other people. I didn't want other people looking at me like, oh, you don't got no job? Like, what are you doing with yourself? Because they didn't understand what I was doing. But once I realized that, no, this is a job and you're actually doing something, then I just said, F it. I'm just going to just do this and that's it.
Right. So how, did you have any mentors that, or like people that put you on, or like who? I know you said you just started, but like who did you learn from? And I mean, you don't have to say who, but did you have any?
Oh, yeah.
And how do you feel that contributed to your success?
So one thing that I'm super, super blessed for is that I had mentors from young, really young, before I even knew what a mentor was. Right. So remember I told you I taught dance. So that was one person, my the dance school owner. She owned one of the most successful dance schools in Brooklyn. She had 2 of them. And she pretty much mentored me into like, teaching and just showing me different things of running business. She did everything like without computer. She was bookkeeping all her stuff by hand. So I was just watching her and learning how she was able to build a following, or I should say like a community of people who loved her business, and promoted her. So she was always just, doing things like that. So I learned a lot from her. Then fast forward, like I said, when I had my fashion, I was focusing on that mainly from high school into college. I went and I got, don't ask how I found this. I was always finding stuff. I used to love Craigslist. I don't know if y'all remember Craigslist. I used to be on Craigslist. Okay, so I used to go on Craigslist and find gigs like that. And my parents used to think I was crazy. They used to tell me about the Craigslist killer or whatever it's called. I'm like, what are y'all talking about? I'm finding jobs on here. So look, so I get this internship in a showroom, and this wonderful lady, she was amazing. She owned a boutique, and she also owned a showroom. And basically, the showroom, you have all these clothes, and you're looking for buyers who need clothes for their boutiques or whatever. So I was working for her, so I learned a lot with her and just learning business things like that. And then probably had a couple, like two more. I had two fashion stylists that mentored me, and I'm just finding these people. So this is how, in case anybody want to know how to get a mentor. A lot of people think, oh, money is the only way, but sometimes just working for free for them, just going and doing whatever it is that they need help with. So that's what I always did from young. I didn't ask for money. I always just presented, can I just work for you? I just want to learn. And obviously, I was such a good worker. They wanted to pay me, and they also wanted me to elevate and do more for them, like, because they just seen that in me. But that's how I learned so much. But then now, current day, I have my mentor now. He's dope. I don't know if any of y'all know him, but he's amazing. His name is Runway Billionaire. Well, he goes by Runway Billionaire. He's killing it in
with a B.
With a B, yeah. He don't. We're not talking about millions, we in the billions now. So
I heard you. So, okay, cool. So is he who helped you with the Airbnb stuff?
Absolutely. No, well, I was gonna say absolutely not. I didn't mean to say it like that. No, I didn't mean to say it like that. I was going to say absolutely to something else, but then when you asked, I'm like, no.
Oh, okay.
So
okay,
how
okay.
it works?
So who helped you with the Airbnb stuff?
Oh, nobody. I helped myself. Let me tell you something. So I actually got scammed. Well, I wouldn't say scam. Let me not say it. I hate when people say that because they might be saying that. People just use that word if they don't get results, right?
Right. But I
had found this woman, a woman online, and she said she had an Airbnb course. So it was like $995 for the course. I remember scraping together my money, and then I was a second person I was going to learn from too, a $2,000 course. But once the $995 course didn't work out in my favor, I said, "Oh no, can't do that." But basically, the course it was self-led course, but it was a lot of information that I was like, what? Like it was just things missing. I just didn't understand what was going on in the course, and I kept trying to apply the information, and it was not getting no results. So I would say, in a sense, she kind of introduced me to stuff, but it was really just me just doing trial and error and just putting myself like out into the world and just trying things. So nobody really showed me anything in Airbnb. I literally figured a lot of that stuff out like all on my own. My mentor, I actually reached out to my mentor because when I started, like I said, I started going live on Instagram, like literally almost every day going live. People kept asking me, can you mentor me or do you have a course? And I'm like, what are they talking about? Like course? Like,
listen, if I see somebody doing $15K a month on Airbnb, I'm asking them to help me out.
And I'm such a high achiever. I don't know if it's like Caribbean upbringing, but like, I'll be like, that's not enough. I need to do more. So at that time, I wasn't even thinking this was like no grand accomplishment. I was just like, okay, that's cool. I need to do more. Right. So I just didn't think I was ready to teach or coach. And like, hubby was like, what are you talking about? Are you crazy? Like, and I was just dead set on not doing it. And then I kept going live. And he's like, so why are you going live then? I'm like, you know what?
You got a point
there. So I started looking online. I was like, all right, so what I got to do is find somebody who could teach me how to create some sort of digital product. I actually already had an ebook that I had wrote myself, like a little ebook I put together. I had a little video that I talked about Airbnb, and I kind of tried to sell that, but it wasn't really successful. Like people bought everything on the first day, and then that was that. It died down. So I was trying to figure out how can I make income from this like every single day. That was my goal, because I just wanted passive income. Like the Airbnbs were already passive, but I wanted something even more passive, and I also wanted something that could help other people. So I felt like me doing Airbnb, it only helps me, my family, but it's not really doing anything for everybody else. So I wanted to teach for that reason. And so I found my mentor online, never met him a day in my life, found him online, and I just felt like something about him, it just seemed like it was like a good match. I felt like he had exactly what I was looking for. So when you want to take risk, I had to pay my mentor a pretty little penny to learn. And honestly, it's partially my fault because he was like, "What's your price?" or something like that. I don't want to spill too much, but basically, I put myself up there. I was like, "Well, I'm gonna pay da da da." He like, "Well, just to let you
He was
know,
like, okay.
my mentorship is good." I said, maybe I should have said, "Lord."
Right. He got you.
But
He
I think,
got
yeah, but
you.
I think it was good because he saw like I believed in him, but I believed in
Mm-hmm.
myself. Because that's the thing people don't understand
Mm-hmm.
about mentorship. If you're not willing to pay somebody a lot of money because you think it's gonna be not what you're already saying that you're not gonna accomplish something. You follow what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Yeah. No. That's deep. That's deep.
you have to invest that money and you can't be scared because you are the one that's ultimately in the driver's seat of your success. Like the
Right.
mentor is guiding you, but you have to do these things. So I think him seeing that I was, first of all, not only did I say I put up a lot of money for the mentorship, I was still working my full-time job,
Right.
and I never, ever, ever, ever missed a meeting with him. Every time that we were going on Zoom, every time he was showing me things, I was available. I was there. I took it very serious. Whether I was in my Airbnb, on a flight, wherever I was getting on that call. Like I had to
Right.
be present and learn. And then every time he showed me something, I went and applied it. So yeah.
Right. And so he was, so okay. So let's take a step back real quick. So you've accomplished a lot on Airbnb for yourself, right? And then you were kind of teaching people, but you really hadn't stepped out yet. So I want to highlight this because a lot of people think that because they just do one business, when you hear like, yo, I need 7 streams of income, right? Everybody's like, oh my gosh, if you want to be you want to be Warren Buffett, you got to have 7 streams of income. But what a lot of people don't tell us is that, okay, those 7 streams can come from one thing, meaning, you do Airbnb. So even though you make money on Airbnb now, how can you break that into like 3 or 4 different incomes?
Exactly.
And so you went ahead and said, you know what, I do Airbnb, but I can go ahead and change this into selling an ebook. Boom. That's one thing. So that's a second income stream from Airbnb. And then you're like, okay, maybe I could do digital products where I actually do a class or a master class or something where I teach people or some type of coaching. So now that's another 2 or 3 different, income. So go ahead and talk about how that mentor helped you, whether it was like start the coaching or with the digital products or whatever that was.
So what I was missing was the systems, and I just didn't know anything about the systems and marketing. I didn't really know like effective marketing because I could market. I really could, but I just didn't know like what was I supposed to use to reach more people. Like I just didn't have no clue. All I knew was posting on Instagram, posting in my stories, posting on Facebook, or text my friends or family. And as y'all all know, family and friends are not going to be your customers. They're just not. And they're also going to be looking for a discount and looking for it for free. So with that said, I had to learn how to reach more people. So he pretty much helped me with that, like showing me different things, different platforms to use and how to just streamline everything too. Because just like how I have Airbnb automated, I automated the whole entire process of the digital products. And, so he helped me with that as well. What you said about the different streams of income, that was my goal as well. I wanted to do digital products, but I was very adamant about not starting something completely new. I wasn't gonna, all right, let me sell digital product. Let me make an ebook about, I don't know, cooking or something. I wanted it to go in line to what I was already doing because I just knew that one, it was gonna be easier to get it done, but two, like I always have something to talk about because I'm doing Airbnb, and so I always will have something to share from while I'm doing Airbnb. So that's why I was really adamant about making it all be under one umbrella.
Right. No, that's amazing. So right now, and I'm just giving somebody a gem real quick. Right now, if you work for a Fortune 500 company or whatever, any company, honestly, you're in corporate and you are in marketing or you are in sales, right? But let's just say, let's say marketing, and you pretty much, handle whether it's the social media account for, your company, or you handle whatever internet stuff they do. It would be great for you to go ahead and, yes, you have a 9-to-5, but you can go ahead and start a business teaching people who maybe have a small business, such as maybe Monica, right? And I don't mean small business, meaning like you have a business that you're starting out and you're looking for, to how you can market better, and you can pretty much go ahead and sell your services. So, and I only say that because there's so many people out here telling everyone like you have to be an entrepreneur. You have to be an entrepreneur. If you're not an entrepreneur, you're not nothing. You're not doing nothing. But at the same time, you can do both, as you have done. You did both at the same time. And so that's just a little nugget right there. But I got a couple more questions for you, then we'll get out here. But I do want to know, like, do you have like a daily routine, like something that you're just like, yo, this is what, because, we have people who say, yo, you got to wake up early in the morning. This is my morning routine. Some people are night people. Like, what's your daily routine if you have one? And what does that look like for you?
All right. So I'm going to be really honest. I'm working on that daily routine to this day. Like that is the hardest part. So I tell anybody, if you're struggling with a daily routine, you feel like you're just not getting to it, sticking to it, be more kind to yourself and just make yourself accomplish one thing. So something I started doing, instead of writing a to-do list, I write down everything I accomplished in the day. And that makes me feel like, oh, wow, like, okay, I'm getting more done than like making this long to-do list and then not really scratching things off. And then also I always put, if I do create a to-do list, it's always going to be two of the most complicated, long tasks that I really don't want to do. That's all I'm focusing on. So a lot of times people hit me up, text me, call me, and because I'm so focused on it. But I would say definitely I do have a routine more so in my personal life that I definitely have mastered. But when it comes to entrepreneur life, it's a little hot. So I'll share that. So every day, every day I try my best to wake up at like 6 a.m. I don't care what time I went to bed, I have to get up early at 6 a.m. And the reason why I'm really, pressed on that is because the earlier I get up, I just feel like I'm able to get more done before the whole world is waking up and moving. So that's one. Also, there's less distractions for me. Like everybody's, still asleep. So I got nobody bothering me or anything at that time. So when I first get up, I usually do a little meditation. And I also I do something like with affirmations. So I'm like very big on like speaking things into existence and also being careful of what I say in my life. So if I want to be a successful entrepreneur, if I want to be, I don't know, like motivation to others, like I already speak like I am that. So that's what I've been doing for years, right? So that's one thing I do in the morning. And then also gratitude. So I take about an hour to do those. I split it up. I'll do like 20 minutes or 15 minutes for each or whatever, but I split it up and I get that. I do that first. I don't check no email, no phone. I used to wake up, roll over, touch Instagram. I don't do that, no, because next thing you know, it's 4 hours and I'm just scrolling.
Right. That's me. That's me low key.
I hate it. It's the worst. So I don't even, my phone, I put on do not disturb. I put the light real low and I put it to the side. Everything is like just getting all that stuff done first. And then I lock in and start figuring out what I want to do for my day. Sometimes I plan out my day the day before so that I'm already like on it instead of like just planning it as I go, because that's the worst. But yeah, I would say that's my routine right there. Like that I'm trying to add some other things like going to the gym, but I don't know. Me in the gym is just like that. Like it's a I don't know what's going on at the gym, but I try, but I'm not there yet. So yeah.
Right. No, okay, cool. So, okay, I got a couple more questions. So, some people say, listen, don't like just get out there and just jump off the porch and just try it, right? And others are like, nah, like just like stay down till you come up. And I only say that because you see both sides. We're on Instagram or Facebook or wherever. They're just like, if you're not ready to do this right now, you ain't about it. And then others are like, nah, like, kind of slow and steady. But then you also have people who are just like, nah, you got to make a decision right now. Are you going to do this? Or are you going to do that? Like, where do you think people should be at? Should they, what side do you think works best?
That is a really tricky question.
Right.
Ooh, you got me there because I'm in the middle. I'm not gonna lie, but I don't want to be in the middle because I feel like I like people who just pick one, right?
Right.
So I would say the second one where you said about just pushing yourself and putting yourself out there. That was the second one, right? That's did I get it right? Okay. I'm more so for that because I feel like people overcomplicate things and sometimes they feel like they need more especially resources. People always feel like, oh, when I get money, I'm going to do that. Oh, when I, have more time from work, or and I'm always like, that day is never going to come. That's how I am. I'm
Right.
like, that's not going to come. Just do it. Just do it. Like Nike, just do it. Right. So I'm one of
Right.
those people that I just say, just go for it. Like, I don't care what you have going up against you. Like, just do it. And whatever results you get is going to teach you something. And that's better than the person that's not doing nothing. So that's why
Right.
I'm more so like that. I also feel like everybody has their time. So instead of feeling like, oh, just because I started working on this today, next week I'm gonna be lit, be, on some sort of
Right.
level. How about just working on it just to develop, yourself and develop your skill set, and you are gradually climbing. Like I feel like, that's just a better approach than feeling like I gotta wait for the perfect timing, or I gotta put myself in position, or whatever the things that people think like they have to do before they just go for it.
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we went through talking about how many roadblocks you may have,
Mm-hmm.
or not even road.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe we can call them roadblocks. But the fact that you took a risk,
Mm-hmm.
you went to school, but then you were like, "Listen, school's not really working out. That's okay." And you had to move. You kept getting these jobs, trying to figure it out. But then you were a flight attendant, and I believe one of the riskiest times where
Yeah.
you had to stop flying because people just weren't taking a lot of trips. And most of those trips are probably like luxurious trips, like vacation trips or whatever. And then you go ahead and start an Airbnb business, even though you can't fly right now because people aren't vacationing as much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's a risk.
Mm-hmm.
And then going ahead and getting some mentorship to be able to scale and do the things that you want to do. What would you say is, after taking all of those risks, like what would you say is your purpose? And it could just be for right now. I know people want to make it real crazy, like, oh, once I say this is my purpose, it's etched in stone forever. Like, no, like right now, today in 2022, what do you believe like your purpose is?
That's deep. I like that. I gotta work on my purpose, because I got too. Like you said, I be wanting to think of that purpose like that big thing, but
Right.
I really feel like inspiring people to use their gifts and their talents. So for me, um, like I told you, like my background, I didn't really go to the best school, didn't have a degree. The jobs I had were pretty, regular, mediocre jobs. My family is pretty, regular. Like nobody's done anything, crazy in business world or anything. I just didn't have anything that was like, okay, you're definitely gonna go to the top, right?
Right.
I just used the things that God gave me, and I just put them on a platform. So that's what I feel my purpose is, to show people that they each have their own unique gift, and that they can use it to do whatever it is that they want to do in life, however they want to live their life, whatever level they want to go with it, whatever freedom they want, they can have all of that if they utilize the gifts that they already have. So yeah, I feel like that's definitely my
Facts.
purpose.
Facts. Okay. All right. So last question here. Like, what's next for Monica Lee? Like,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me. How dare me, Miss Monica Lee? I
Thank
better
you.
stop playing with her. What's next for you? I know that, like I said, you've done the Airbnb. Now you're doing Airbnb coaching. You have master classes. Sometimes, I've seen you on there like every day
Mm-hmm.
doing a master class and just giving back to the people. Like, I just want y'all to know, like, she really is the people's champ. Like, when you talk about getting value, no, for real, because when you talk about getting value, right? Don't get it wrong. When you go in there, you're going to see some products that you will have to pay for, okay? But she also, if you just turn on her notifications, if you just tap into her IG, you're going to get a bunch of value just off rep. But what's next for you?
Mm-hmm. Oh man. So with Airbnb, I want to definitely take it to another level. So, I started out with rental arbitrage, just getting units that were like apartments and flipping them, but I want to definitely go to a new level, getting like my first house that is specifically for short-term renting. And then doing something crazy with that house. So like some sort of boutique hotel type of vibe, like really like doing something crazy like that. I'm even interested in hotel investing. That's something that I've been really thinking about. Still learning about it, but been thinking about that. So that's that. And then like in the digital space, I really want to I really want to come up with some sort of, I guess I could say coaching. I probably coach again, but really teaching people how they can make money in the digital space, because I feel like with everything that's going on right now, recession, the digital world is kind of recession proof in a sense, because you could tap into so many people from the comfort of your own home and make income. And it's like where jobs are laying people off or jobs are getting obsolete. Like today, for example, I hope I don't go too off the topic, but you don't mind, right, Brandon?
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
So one of my jobs I actually had, I worked in the clothing store Zara. So I used to be a cashier in Zara. And I went to Zara today and I seen Zara had what is it? They had like these kiosk self checkout things. There was no cashier in sight, not one.
Oh,
And you
wow.
literally walk up to it. Yeah, you literally walk up to it and it puts the clothes in, it scans it, and it put it into perspective exactly why I want to teach people about making money from digital products or anything online, because there are jobs like cashiers or different things that are going to be wiped out because they're going to put kiosks or computers, right? And you
Yep.
know what? We can't beat that. So why don't we figure out
Right.
our own way, to do what we got to do to get there. So that's something I want to really work on. I feel like, especially um, with younger people, because they're so into the internet already. They're already using these
Right.
apps so much. Teaching them how they could just
Right.
take those apps and make money from those very same apps that they use every day. Teaching them, how they can use their phone to make money and stuff like that. So that's one of my things that I really want to do, because I feel like um that information is gonna be golden in the years to come. Like I feel like the next couple of years is gonna get a little scary for some people, and I think if they know that they can
Right.
have that backup plan to do something online, that will
Right.
definitely help them. And
No, that's tough.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
add one more thing, because I'm like I said, I'm an overachiever. I'm super ambitious. I wanna host events. I would love to do like in person AirBNB coaching and do things in person. So I definitely want to have some sort of big event. Um, Definitely gonna be. Oh, I always talk about mindset. So in the event, it's gonna be a lot of mindset coaching. But I'm also gonna be giving them some game on how to get started and other industries that people want to learn about. I'm gonna put it all together. So I really want to do some
Right.
events like that as well. So that's pretty much what the future holds. And I'll say very, very, very close, like near future. Like I'm
Right.
talking about like in a
Right.
couple months. Like I'm trying to make all of that
Right.
shape. So
Right. No, that's awesome. Well, we're excited, for your future, all of that stuff that'll be in the very near future. And we're excited that you came on the show today, man.
yeah,
I'm sure
thanks for
everyone
having
who
me.
listened, I know y'all got some value. And you got to understand, like, people that I try to have on the show, like, I really want them to have an impact, right? And I think that that's the easiest way for, people to really feel as if you're getting value is, as she said, when I asked her what she wants to do, what's next, it really involved just like providing value to people and pretty much making an impact, on her community. So, but we appreciate you coming on. And as always, this is your boy B with the Purpose Driven Risk podcast, where we help we help everyone, whether student, whether professional, businesswoman, businessman, we want to help you all take risk with a purpose. So this is it. That's all we got. First show, man. I think you did great, Monica. I
Thank
think you did
you.
great.
Thank you so
All
much.
right. Well, no problem. We're signing off, and we'll see you guys on the next show.
All right. Take
All righty.
care.